The cabinet has approved a 2.62 trillion shilling 2017-2018 national budget estimate for submission to Parliament. This is a rise from this year's 2.48 trillion shillings. The budget seeks to ensure pro-poor growth and sustainable development and will be partly be financed through donor loans and grants amounting to 256.1 billion shillings. And one of the cabinet approved figures is our big number tonight. It's huge, and we're not talking Zimbabwe dollars, we're talking Kenyan shillings. And our big number for today is 100 billion Kenyan shillings, billion. Now, this is the allocation for salary increases for all public servants starting July 2017. Now, first, with all the retrenchments in the private sector, is the government the place to work for? Come to think about it. Anyway, moving on. For those who have never interacted with this amount of money, it may just be an abstract figure to you. So let's break it down. It's drought season, so let's jump into the maize bags. A 90-kilogram bag of maize in Nairobi costs 4,000 shillings. With 100 billion shillings, you can buy 25 million bags of maize. Our consumption is 40 million bags per year, so the salary increment can cater for 62.5% of the total annual maize consumption in Kenya. Now, moving on, but on a similar note, assuming that a Kenyan, on average, eats a third of a kilo of maize meal per plate of ugali, then with 100 billion shillings, you can have 6.75 billion plates of ugali, which is 156 plates of ugali per Kenyan. Well, this is also relative depending on where you come from and how much ugali you take. Now, Thika Highway, on another note now, Thika Highway cost the taxpayer 32 billion shillings. With the 100 billion shillings, we can build 3 Thika highways, and you can imagine how much would be saved in terms of lost productivity if we had the reduced traffic. On another note, the annual school fees for boarders at public secondary schools is 66,424 shillings, which is a year annually, and this is a contribution by the government as well as the parents. So you can pay full fees for 376,369 secondary school students from Form 1 through to Form 4 with 100 billion shillings. And we may just see more Matiang'i A's because less people may be missing school. Now, speaking of missing, doctors have been missing in action at their workstations for over 2 months. The medics are asking for 8 billion shillings annually. So if you go by their continued calls, you can pay the medics this increase for 12.5 years with a 100 billion bob. This may be hard talks, but the tender type of conversations. Follow the hashtag. And speaking of bob and calling more, 100 billion shillings can finance all the phone calls on Safaricom in 2016 and give you change to last phone calls for about 5 weeks. The incoming and outgoing calls in Safaricom gave the company 90 billion shillings. So we can see why the 100 billion shillings can get you talking beyond what the whole year had. That's incoming calls, international, local, and as well as outgoing ones. Now, do you know the salary increment can fully finance the former US President Barack Obama's promise to support the youth, women, and children during the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in 2015? It's the same figure. So go figure.